I've encouraged people to journal and they are, so I have to respond. Yeah, absolutely. Are they journaling just different things and you're using that as part of their therapy to help them write? It's funny you say that because I, over the years, have journaled a lot writing. Um, and sometimes I share it with people, sometimes I don't, but it always helps me think things through and learn a little bit more about myself and what I'm what I'm thinking and what's important. um but also, and sometimes it's very therapeutic and sometimes it's therapeutic in a way you wouldn't think. It just sort of helps me, like I said, reflect on what's in the head, because sometimes you have so many things going on up there that you sort of don't know it's where it's going, and sometimes writing it down helps. There's a journal option with BetterHelp, and they can choose to share it with me. That's cool. Like I said, I've written some stuff where I've shared. Sometimes I haven't. Sometimes I have. Another thing I've done is if there's certain topics that I'm on or I'm thinking about, sometimes I'll actually write a friend. I have a really good friend of mine that is another writer, but she moved to Arizona a few years ago. And so sometimes I'll write her letters. But it's funny, I actually write it by hand. So I usually write to her about some of the ideas I'm having about writing, or just the processes I'm going through, because she understands it because she's a writer. But what's nice is I do that, and I do it by hand. I notice that when I do journaling and more that type of stuff, it really, I have to write by hand more because it comes through more with when I'm thinking. Even when I write a story, the first time I write the story, it is the idea or the story itself usually is handwritten because it helps me process it. It is something I was never able to do with insurance and in practice. I'm learning how to use it and incorporate in with therapy. Cool. Yeah, I think that's what's interesting, and it's great, right? It's something you're learning, and it's something that you can do is continue to learn and then just evolve yourself and then in whatever you're doing and providing for people. So this way is a great way to do it. Like I said, for me, I like to do it by hand. Not everybody does, but I do. And then when I write the stories by hand, and then I actually put it in the computer like here, and then as I flesh out and type it out, flesh it out, and then edit. But in terms of journaling, I definitely do it by hand. People tend to have a different voice when they write versus talking. They do, and it's a very good point. And it's sometimes it's a challenge for me is that I think sometimes very quickly, and my writing can't catch up to it. So sometimes I will actually, say what I mean, and then the problem though is like, how do you make sure that you write what you mean and write what you're saying? But you do what you can, right? And that is, yeah, I don't know. And like for something like this, like what I'm doing with this Nepal, what's interesting is my snapshots is it all comes out eventually. It does. What's interesting for me on snapshots, this book I'm writing, is each chapter is a different memory for me. So it's different. It's a different kind of therapy too, because it's like a memory. And so I'm going back in my memory, and granted, these are many years ago. So I'm trying to remember, but I'm also trying to like recapture that feeling. And so I wish in some ways I would have done it earlier, written it earlier, because it would probably be easier. I did, it's funny, yesterday, I this is for the Kali Kandaki Temple. Yesterday I did research briefly the Kalakandaki temple to see if I can remember what it looked like, and it's really sort of cool. It was pretty close to what I remembered it, so that was pretty neat. But anyways, give me a second and I'll reset our timer and we should be good. And good luck writing, everyone.